Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel, and if this is your first time joining on our channel, I feel like there's a lot of new people on here, so welcome. My name's Eden and my husband Caleb. We have been doing YouTube a little bit. We are expecting a baby boy in, I was about to say June. No, we are expecting a baby boy in March 2022. So we're very excited. We're kind of just navigating pregnancy and everything that comes with at the moment. So hopefully in the next few months, I'll be updating you guys more on my pregnancy and doing more videos on that. But as you can see from today's title of the video, today will be all of the things people don't tell you about pregnancy. So I thought before we get started on this video, I would quickly update those that have just joined and maybe some people that have been watching but I haven't really explained the situation yet with the pregnancy. Basically, Caleb and I got married in May 2021, so this year, and we fell pregnant July this year. So it was a very unexpected surprise, which we're so excited for. Imagine it any other way now. But yes, was definitely a very big surprise. And so now we're just pretty much navigating pregnancy and all that it comes with. So that's why I wanted to do this video, as I kind of never really searched about pregnancy or did my research about pregnancy because I just wasn't expecting to be pregnant so soon. Yeah, and also we just weren't planning the pregnancy yet. So I've really been thrown into the deep end with this pregnancy, and I just wanted to share some of the things that I wasn't told about pregnancy or wasn't aware of in pregnancy. It's pretty lighthearted, this video, but at the start I might touch on a few things that are a bit more serious in pregnancy, and then it goes into some more lighthearted stuff that you just don't hear about or you're not told, or that I didn't know before becoming pregnant and walking this pregnancy journey with all these things that have just been coming up out of the blue. So I'll just jump straight into it, but that's a little bit of a backstory. So we've only been married for 6 months now. Also, I'm 22 weeks pregnant. I'll show you guys my belly. 22 weeks pregnant and my belly button is going crazy. But that's my belly at 22 weeks. In my second trimester, which is crazy. First trimester I feel like went really slow, and now second trimester is going along a lot faster. Maybe just because I've been more busy, or I don't know what it is. I think it's just pregnancy in general goes so fast. Once you hit second trimester, you don't realize, and then apparently all of a sudden you're just giving birth. So we'll jump straight into it, but that's 22 weeks pregnant, and yeah, that's a little bit of a behind story. The first thing is pregnancy is not as glamorous as people show on their Instagrams, or show, maybe you see people out there pregnant and it just looks like the best thing in the world. But for me personally, some people it might be that way, but for me personally it has not been glamorous, and it has not been the amazing picture that you see pregnancy as, but also I know people that have had awesome pregnancies and they love it. One person, my mum, she had the best pregnancies. Like she said, she loved being pregnant, but I just cannot relate to it, and that's just me. There might be people out there that have the best pregnancies, and I'm so happy that you love it or you had a really good pregnancy, because you know it's not like I'm having the worst pregnancy, but I've definitely struggled a lot more than what I thought I would being pregnant, just because of all the changes and things in your body that's going on. Like there's so many things. So pregnancy so far for me has not been very glamorous. It has not been the picture perfect pregnancy that you see or hear about, but it also hasn't been really bad. Like I didn't really struggle with morning sickness, like to a really bad extent that some people do. I had a really good first trimester and it's been pretty good. I just think my body struggled with the changes, and emotionally and physically my body has been really drained during pregnancy, and I think that's what's affected me the most. I think it's been definitely the hardest few months of my life so far, just mentally and emotionally and physically, because my body, I've always been quite a fit and active person, and just going into like getting heavier and all the changes that come with your body during pregnancy I just wasn't expecting or ready for, I think, and I also didn't have time to prepare for those changes and realize, you know, what comes with pregnancy and stuff, because it was such a surprise and such an unexpected pregnancy. I like brainstormed this before and was writing things down before I sat down and did this video, because I wanted to think about things that I've actually really struggled with or didn't know was a thing until I experienced it myself. And the first thing would be that first trimester, the first few weeks of pregnancy where you haven't told anyone, and you kind of have, I don't want to call it anxious feelings. I don't really like using the word anxious because I don't think I am anxious, but more of a worried feeling about the pregnancy, more being worried about miscarriage and all the things that you kind of, the risks of pregnancy are really big in the first trimester, and people really kind of tell you that. So that would be the first thing for me when coming into pregnancy. I kind of thought, yeah, I'm going to be so excited. Like, this is going to be so good. Like, first trimester, you know, you hear about the morning sickness and all of that that comes with it, which you kind of are happy to put up with because you're pregnant and it's an exciting time. Sorry, just choked. But you're not told about the, I'm just going to say the anxieties or the worries that you might have with miscarriage and the risks of the first trimester, because that is what you see and hear about is, oh, the first trimester is the most like concerning, high risk time of the pregnancy, because, you know, it's where things can go wrong and all of that stuff, which I wasn't really prepared for. I thought it was just going to be really fun and I was just going to be really excited about the pregnancy and not really worry about that stuff. I didn't really realize that I was thinking that way or feeling that way until I look back now and see that I was like that. But I was actually really worried about having a miscarriage and something going wrong with the pregnancy. And I think a lot of women struggle with this in their first trimester, and something that people don't really talk about because you're meant to keep it a secret until 12 weeks or 13 weeks. Like, they tell you wait until, you know, you get to a certain point because that's past the risk of your pregnancy, which is fair enough that they tell you that, but it's also really kind of disheartening for those first 12 weeks. You're not really, well, for me anyways, I didn't get excited about my pregnancy because I was like, well, I'm not going to get excited just in case something happens and something goes wrong, which is totally the wrong mindset to have. And I've heard a few people talk about this as well. Like, it's just such a bad mindset to have, but it's so, like, you just have it when you're in that moment and when you're in those 12 weeks, especially because a lot of people don't tell their family, their friends and everything until 12 weeks. And if something did happen or something did go wrong, you kind of want your close friends or your family to know, rather than feeling that by myself and being kind of in the dark and just waiting for that 12 or 13 weeks to be over. So it's like past the stage of any risk to my baby, which is kind of sad that that's the case with your pregnancy, but it's just so, you just feel that way because so many people, you know, talk about don't tell anyone until 12 weeks and, you know, you got to be really careful and things like that. You don't really know that until you step into being pregnant and being in your first trimester, and those are the feelings that I had, and no one really prepared me for that. I didn't want to get excited for the pregnancy because I was scared that something was going to happen, which was just the total wrong mindset to have during that first period, because everything could be normal. And with mine, my pregnancy is a really low risk pregnancy and there's been no issues really with my pregnancy. So it was just such a waste of being worried and feeling a bit anxious about the pregnancy when, you know, everything was actually fine. And, like, you've got to be aware that, yes, it is the time where things can go wrong and be aware of that. But it was to the point where I was like not getting excited about being pregnant because of those thoughts that I was having and not wanting to lose the baby or things like that, which, yeah, I wasn't prepared for. And I think that's something that isn't spoken about during pregnancy or things that people struggle with. But that personally for me, looking back on the pregnancy, I probably didn't realize it in the time, but now looking back, I did actually feel that way and I thought it was normal. But that was probably more of the heavy weighted kind of discussion that I thought I would do before we moved on to the more of the lighthearted stuff that I didn't know about pregnancy or wasn't expecting. Another thing I did not know about pregnancy is that you only have 2 ultrasounds with your baby, like during your whole pregnancy. Now, if you are high risk, you will have probably more ultrasounds, but because I have a low risk pregnancy, you only have 2 ultrasounds, which is just crazy to me. Like when I had my, I think it was at 13 weeks, when I had my 13-week scan, they were like, oh yeah, you've got 1 to go. And I'm like, what? 1 to go? And it was at like 20 weeks. So it's all those, like that period in between 20 weeks and giving birth that you don't really have an ultrasound, which is crazy to me. Like I did not know that, which is so crazy. I actually had 3 ultrasounds though, because I had a dating scan, which I got to see the baby, which it was like that big. But I had my 13-week scan, and then I had my 20-week scan, and now I don't get another scan, but I think you can go in and like maybe get another scan if you wanted to, but I'm not sure how it works, because if you're low risk, it's kind of like your baby's fine. But yeah, for more high risk pregnancies, I think they do more. You'd probably get checked in more with the baby and things like that. But for me, I only got 2 ultrasounds, and that's something that I didn't know about pregnancy before stepping into it. This may be for only some people, but I experienced this like dramatically very quickly in my pregnancy. But something I did not know is that your boobs grow as soon as you're pregnant, and not just when the milk comes in. I always thought like your boobs will just grow at the end of the pregnancy when the baby starts to feed, and or you start like you're at that very last few weeks of pregnancy. So my boobs were the first symptom I had. Like my sore boobs were the first thing that indicated that I was pregnant. It was the first symptom that I found out. And if you haven't seen that video, I do have a symptom video of all the symptoms I had before I found out I was pregnant, and then during up until 18 weeks of pregnancy, I do an update. So if you want to go check that out, it's on my YouTube. So just have a look at that. I did not know that your boobs start growing as soon as you get pregnant. Like my boobs literally started growing as the second I was pregnant, or when I found out I was pregnant, that's when I really realized that they were growing and they weren't stopping. So I have actually gone from B cup, and I may have said this in my last video, but I've gone from a B cup to a E cup, which is so crazy for my mind to just comprehend. Like I'm having to wear these just like sports bras everywhere because my boobs, I need to like hold them up now. I used to just be like free the boobs, like no bra, just like be able to wear a shirt without like realizing that I wasn't wearing a bra, and now I have to keep these babies locked up. But yeah, it's just crazy to me that they're just gonna keep growing. Like it's just, yeah. Something I did not know is that your boobs actually grow at the start, and this may be different for a lot of people, but for me, my boobs started growing as soon as I found out I was pregnant, and they will continue to grow because the milk's not even in there yet. So that is another thing. Another thing is also, I don't know if I may speak on a few things that are like really, I think people say TMI, but that's like, I don't know if I can use that. I don't know. I think that's too much information. I think that's what it stands for. But a few things that I might talk about are probably maybe too much information for you to hear, but I just want to be real with you guys because I didn't know this stuff about pregnancy, and I'd rather you guys step into it or know these things before you go into pregnancy and are shocked. But one thing for me are like also my nipples. Your nipples get like a darker color. Some people just already have dark nipples, but you know, some people have light nipples, and then it's a real big shock when that suddenly their nipples grow bigger and they have really dark nipples. So that is another thing. Your nipples do change colors. Just letting you guys know. It is a thing. It does happen, and I'm not sure if it happens to everyone, but it happened to me, and I don't know if that's too much information for you guys, but you know, someone that could help someone out there. It might not be a shock to them anymore if that happens to them. Anyways, right, another thing that I have another thing I did not know about pregnancy is that you will literally need to pee every 5 seconds. I'm not kidding you. I don't know if this is just me, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people, or a lot of pregnant people, struggle with this, but I pee every 5 minutes. I'm not kidding. So I literally just went to the toilet because I'm like, okay, otherwise I really need to go. and I came and sat down and I already need to pee again. Normally when I'm sitting down, it's okay. I don't really feel it as much, but when I stand up and the baby's sitting on my bladder, I just need to go to the toilet all the time. Night times for me, going to bed is just the worst because I literally need to get up in the middle of the night, and I hate getting up in the middle of the night. You're like half asleep trying to and we have cockroach. I know this is really gross, but we have like a flying cockroach in our house, which we haven't been able to kill. And one night I came out to the toilet, and you know how you're like half asleep when you go to the toilet at nighttime? I went to like turn the hall light on, and the cockroach was right next to the switch. Like I nearly touched it with my hand, and that just has scarred me, and we just still haven't been able to get rid of that big boy. But yeah, that's really scarred me. Anyways, peeing every 5 seconds, it's a thing. Another thing I did not know about pregnancy. Oh, I probably heard about it, but like I didn't realize that I was literally need to pee every 5 seconds. Another thing that may be a little bit too much information again is, okay, like I feel like I don't know if this is too much information, but I'm just gonna share anyways. Okay, so another thing that I did not know, or people did not talk about, is that you just get way more discharge. Like, it's really bad. I am just shocked at how like the amount of undies you go through in a day. Like, I'm nearly to the point where I have to wear, like, literally I could wear a nappy. Not a nappy, that's an over exaggeration. I literally probably need to start wearing pads. And I know that's really too much information for you guys, but it's just real. This is pregnancy. I'd hope that this helps you before you go into pregnancy, and you know that this stuff happens, because it does. And yes, trust me, I don't know what, it's all the hormones changing your body stuff. It just comes out of there, and there's a lot of it. And you do have to change your undies multiple times a day, and yeah, it's quite disgusting. So that's another thing I had no clue about, and I actually thought something was wrong with me. I was like, what is happening? Like, I was like, something is wrong. Like, I literally need to go change my undies again. But I've heard other people speak about it now, and I've like searched it. Like, Google's my best friend in pregnancy. So that is another thing. A lot of discharge. Be prepared to get like 50,000 new pairs of undies, or just get patty liners or something. I don't think I've got to that point yet, but I think it's getting to the point where I will need to go buy some of those and stock up. But sorry, that's another thing that was too much information for you guys probably, but I want you guys to be prepared if you are pregnant or going to be pregnant in the future. It's something that you already know, so you don't have to worry about it when it comes around. I just thought it would be really helpful to have this video so that I can tell people about the things that people don't tell you, so I can tell you. Anyways, moving on. One more thing, and I don't know if everyone experiences this, but something that I've experienced is sciatic pain. Sciatic pain comes from your sciatic nerve, which is kind of in your butt, but like near your back a little bit, but in your butt. It's a nerve where if it's being like pressed on, or something's like kind of, I guess, weight or pressure is on it, it can like shoot pain up your back and also down your leg, and it's so painful. Like, you have to move, but it's so painful when it happens. It happens when you're laying on your back, for me anyways, and when I'm standing at work, it's the worst pain. I have to like try and move, but like without it like hurting anymore. It's a thing, sciatic pain. Caleb's always like, why do you keep saying sciatic? Like, I always say it because I always get it randomly, like when I'm sleeping and stuff. I'm like, oh no, the sciatic pain. He's like, Eden, that is not a word. Like, sciatic is not a word. I'm like, Caleb, it is a word, and it's a nerve in your butt or your back. So that is something I didn't know. And the last thing, sorry, I did forget about this, kind of links in with that, but you cannot sleep on your back or on your stomach when you're pregnant. I mean, that's just a given when you think about being pregnant. Like, you wouldn't imagine yourself sleeping with a big belly, like on your belly. But I don't know, I'm still trying to sleep on my belly, and it's super uncomfortable, but I just am a belly sleeper, and the thought of not being able to do that anymore, which I can't really anymore, but it's just really sad. I didn't know about sleeping on your back. I thought, oh, that'd be all right. I can just start sleeping on my back. But no, apparently it like lays on like a nerve and like a blood thing. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of things in pregnancy you just don't know until you're in it, and then someone tells you and you're like, what the heck? I can't sleep on my back. The baby can't breathe properly apparently. Like all these things, I'm like, I just wasn't prepared for this. So hopefully these things have prepared you guys for if you are ever pregnant and or are going through pregnancy but haven't maybe experienced these things yet. That is pretty much all for today's video. That is all I have put together and all of the things that I personally didn't know. There's probably a few more, but when I was brainstorming, I just couldn't come up with any more. So make sure you guys comment some of the things that you didn't know about pregnancy, because I love reading them. Yeah, sometimes they're super funny things that are like, you just didn't realize, and I'd love to hear your guys' ones. So if you are pregnant or have been in pregnancy, or you've heard of people and things that they weren't told and then kind of were thrown into the deep end with, make sure you comment it. I'd love to see those things. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it's opened your eyes a little bit more to the things that no one tells you about with pregnancy and the things that I've experienced during pregnancy. There's a lot to it. It's a very emotional, physical, changing time, and I hope this has helped someone out there prepare a little bit more for pregnancy and not be thrown into the deep end as much as I was. I'm kind of a learning on the job kind of girl at the moment. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, like and comment on the video. I think on our next video we'll be doing a Q&A, so stay tuned for that. Kaleb and I are both going to sit down and talk about all things pregnancy, marriage, and other things. We'll see. But if you want to ask a question, go over to my Instagram. That's pretty much where I see or get messages from people. I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week. Thanks for tuning in.